So on, guys, want to break down some stuff and kind of go through a little watch list for tomorrow. Before I know we'll do all this in pre-market, but want to do it now as well. So let's look at the cues. Had a couple earnings. Gap, we got MBIS tomorrow morning. We had CoreWeave. After hours today, it's up about 15%. MBIS is up with it. SMCI had pretty solid earnings, but it's SMCI. But that's helping Dell and some other things. Let's go over a couple scenarios on the queues for tomorrow. Still, the most important area near term is the 20 MA. As well as I'm actually going to add the 50 back on here. I took it off uh, yesterday because it was getting in the way of some things. So I'm gonna put that back up there. Okay, so at 50 estimate, it is still sloping down, which I don't see anybody mention. It is sloping down still. That's fine. I think next leg, if we get it up soon, that next leg, this will start curling up, and we'll really be in some good areas. So anyways, yeah, this 50 SMA, this kind of mid-range spot is important. We need to get that slope up 20 MA and the support from the fall today. And then the top of this range here, basically fall today close or fall today high, 725-ish, let's just say, for the important areas. Scenarios for tomorrow. Flat open, lower wick gets bought up, closes strong. That would be a major buy signal. I'd want everybody to get TQQ and at least one or two more stocks exposure. Gap up and follow through, which I think is possible. Gap up and fade, of course. Gap down and complete sell through the 20 May. That would be a pretty good washout. I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not. But that would be pretty nasty. That'd probably stop me out of majority of things and get me pretty cautious. But that'd be exciting too. Exciting to be able to enter some of the leaders that are a little bit extended. So just kind of going through the scenarios. I always like to map it out. What the ideal scenarios are, what are possible, what are likely. And I know it might sound stupid, like, oh yeah, gap up, go, gap down, reverse, gap up, reverse, open flat up, open flat down. No, but it's important to kind of go through those scenarios, like just like if you're at bat against a pitcher, yeah, you could throw a fastball up and away, up and in, down and away, down and in, like, yeah, no shit. But it's important to visualize those before they occur, so you can be more prepared and equipped for when they occur. So anyways, current position, still have MU double inside days. Oh geez, my drawings, you can tell I'm talking on the charts. Double inside days, undercut those lows, started to recover a little bit. One thing I want to say, if these suck so much, and if the semis are rolling over, I get it. The market's going up, and software stocks and cyber stocks mainly are kind of leading the charge. How come these aren't rolling over if these are such good shorts? I just don't see it. I'm still long. I've got 784 on this from this day down here. And my stop is 820, give or take 827. This low from last week Thursday. So I'm fine with this. Worst case scenario, I get a $40 win, 4-1. My risk was about $10 on this. And then best case scenario is that this continues up and we get that 50 SMA tap, which I've been looking for up in the 970s. But yeah, this is interesting. Dell, I got this day at about 428. Should have it about 420. And just came back in, tapped the 20 May. I do have my stop still technically at 416. I moved it to break even today because I'm like, this is kind of annoying. I don't really want to let this come all the way down to my stop in one day, get nasty. So I moved it to break even today. Looking at it further and seeing the gap up in after hours, I'm like, okay, I'm able to let this breathe a little bit. Same thing with HPE. Got this at 51. Should be in down here closer to 48 or 49, rather than buying this retest right here on this day. And I gave it room. I didn't want to get wicked out on these. It was fine taking a little bit extra breathing room on this. So yeah, and then CBRS. So Bracco got this at 192 on this day, and oh wait, no, it was this day actually. Sorry, 192 right here. And I ended up buying here, got stopped out there, and then quickly rebought back at 211. We're up at about 235 right now. They've got earnings tomorrow after hours, so basically this comes down to earnings. If it gaps down, we're fucked. If it gaps up, we're rich. I say that jokingly, of course, but yeah, how can I not? How can I not swing this into earnings? I mean, um, why not? It's a kick-ass look. Um, Still pretty frustrated that I don't have the clear and obvious relative strength names. Snow, I could have. Crowd, I could have. Um, Rubric. I mean, oh my God, guys. I mean, you heard me how bulled up I was on this. Back here when I was loading up on this, I had a pretty significant position size. Around this area. Rode it up here into the 90s. Probably should have sold some. Ended up, basically round tripping this. Back here. Sold it for a small gain. As we were coming into this range. Which good thing because we dropped another what like 10% or so. But then, back in here, I didn't buy this remount. I posted it in the chat in my channel, like, hey guys, this looks pretty nice on the remount to $75 and the 50-day moving average, or $77 and the 50-day moving average. And just kind of watched it. But yeah, it'd be nice to see us flag out. A couple other nice looks that, I think are deserving of mentioning, guys, is Shopify here. Want to see this kind of pull back in and set up. Just classic, post earnings gap. Setup Twilio. I think it looks really good post earnings still. DDOG. Yeah, curious as to how this trades more than anything. We talked about this yesterday that I thought this was a good area to risk against if this goes red to green and reclaims that 235 spot up into the 50 days, see how it reacts, and end up acting really good. Gave a nice risk spot, but not like the greatest look, obviously. I'm not oblivious to that. Like the way net's looking here. You talked about this undercut and reclaim of 300 in pre-market on Monday. It didn't end up buying it. We'll see, if I end up getting involved in that. ANET, we've been looking at this for a few days. I didn't like the gap up and fade. Um, uh, Maybe I should have. I'd like to get this down into the mid to low 180s. We'll see actually. Not exactly sure what I want to see on this yet, but I want to keep tracking it. MBIS is going to be interesting. I think MBIS and CoreWeave, how they trade tomorrow is going to be pretty important for the AI infrastructure trade. We've also got some other earnings. We had light after hours too. Tomorrow we've got yeah MBIS, Cisco, COHR, CBRS of course. So some important stuff. But then usually before I go to bed, I just kind of look through my broader list. I got 200 names on there right now. A lot of big earnings moves, guys. Um, so I'm really excited. This AEHR, man, this is great. Congrats if you got it down here at like $95, $100. Wish I did. I don't. So, I'm left looking, and I'm not mad about it. I sound probably pretty bummed out about that. Right. I know what I like to see. I know what I look for. I know what my buy signals are and what stocks I want to apply them on. So if they don't give that to me, it's what it is. Usually I can find my way into the best stocks. So I'm not too worried about that. Let's work some through. But man, MDB long in the tooth. This needs to consolidate. Curious as to how so like Wi-Fi and even Boost Run or Riot or some of the other neo clouds trade tomorrow. Just generally curious. Still a lot of oil stocks look good. A lot of these mid-tier software names Zeta, but can't do anything with it up here, guys. Maybe this was a good buy on Friday or Monday. A little bit too excited for me. I like those pullbacks to 20 May. I'm a 20 May loyalist, guys. Yeah, that's who I am. Bending Spoons, AI IPO, doing pretty well. Um, we talked about Twilio. Let's just keep kind of working through this TER. I think this looks good. I actually think this is potentially actionable. Around the 50-day here. There's like 385-ish range. Had a nice little gap up, held the gap. Don't love the way the weekly looks right now, right? But we'll see. I'd be interested in this. But it feels like I'm kind of forcing stuff. PRCH, nice little earnings look here, holding that earnings open, consolidating nicely. It's got pretty nice history of making some good post earnings moves. some of which we've traded in the past. So I want to keep this on my radar. Chime, I want to see some consolidation. Oh, Irene was the other Neil call that I was thinking of earlier. But yeah, I want to watch ANET, NVT. Mostly tomorrow, I'm going to be watching CBRS earnings and how Micron trades and how Dell trades, current positions, and then maybe I get into TQQQ on the right move. AEVA looks nice. I know I'm kind of rambling all over the place, but yeah, what you eat, man. Shout out to Jay for getting this, man. I wouldn't have seen this. I didn't buy this with him. Maybe I should have, I guess. But him and I were chatting earlier today about the hinge comparison on how they looked very similar here in this range, and then rejected the anchored VWAP, and all of a sudden got nice and tight below that, and then kind of blasted through there, and pretty much what TTAN might be doing here. Interesting. BlackBerry reasonable. FFIV reasonable. Actually, this looks really good. Um, Same thing with FTMT actually. Maybe we can get into these on weakness type of 50 SMA. Interesting. Oh, ALAB. Yeah, I've been talking about ALAB and Intel, and again, I don't mind looking stupid, clearly. Right? And like again, everyone's talking about, not like everyone, about how these are like shorts and against the declining 50-day moving average. Well, the QQQ is a declining 50-day moving average. But I like these crossbacks. I do. And then when I look at the weekly chart, especially of something like Intel, right? I can't write this off as this is just like done and should be ignored. Or same thing with Marvell weekly chart or ARM weekly chart. I can't look at this and say that this is just complete trash and we shouldn't be looking at these. Same thing with SMH here. Um, they are lagging a little bit, right? Especially the cyber names, which I acknowledge. Um, so again, maybe it's a waste of time. Like Intel, I thought was actually a reasonable buy today into the support 96 or $95 level. And red to green, like that's a pretty close to a buy signal. Yeah, as we'll get. And I thought ALAB could do the same. I think it still might be able to do the same here. Um, and same thing with Marvell here and ARM, and even AMD. I know it looks like a little roundy top, but why isn't it selling then yet? Like what's taking so damn long? Okay. Um, so anyways, um what am I missing here? I know I'm missing some things. I'm gonna go through after this video and look around. Oh, Eli Lilly, I think looks good. Post earnings, I maybe like want one more check back into 1200. Okta looks good here. We'll nail this down in the morning. RNG, FIVN. So there's plenty of stocks. Of course, you got the oil stocks still moving around, pretty big time. And then some of these earnings gap ups. Remember the three baskets of stocks, ERs and PRs, relative strength leadership, and then emerging setups and themes, or emerging themes and quality setups. So yeah, butterfly, copper stocks, SCCO, FCX, nah, not my style. Blaze. All right, see you guys.